Good evening and welcome to this Wednesday edition of FSU Weather. I'm student meteorologist Jennifer Collins.
I'm student meteorologist Colby Pope, and hey, we've stayed dry so far today. I know yesterday a little bit of a different story. We had a lot of tropical moisture coming through associated with Gordon, so we've stayed dry though across the capital city so far today, haven't we?
Yeah, we had a heavy downpour yesterday. However, heading into today, it was a hot one out there. We had temperatures even reaching around the 90 points. So yeah, it was feeling very hot, very humid, and with all the higher dew points, especially in our area, it's felt pretty warm outside.
Yeah, rather uncomfortable. It's just the trade-off you have to have. We have a jam-packed show today. We had the tropical storm Gordon that made landfall last night around Pensacola, just off to the west there of Pensacola. So, wow, and now it's a tropical depression heading up to the north and west there, and we'll talk about that more on the show today. And again, we're kind of in this pattern right now. We've had, it's still summer-like.
Now that Gordon has actually made its way off, we're actually going to return to a regular summertime pattern. So it's going to, regular summertime pattern that we've been seeing for the past few weeks around here in Tallahassee. And yeah, so we'll get back to the afternoon storms heading throughout the rest of the week. For the weekend, we actually, going into Friday and even into Saturday, we even have some lower rain chances.
Yeah, that's good. Lower rain chances. We'll do some things outside. I know we got another football game this weekend. We've got Sanford, right?
Sanford, yeah, heading into Saturday. So though it is lower rain chances, it is going to be a hot one heading into the weekend.
Yeah, so definitely hydrate.
That's something to look forward to.
Yeah, so,
but with that, we're actually going to send things out to the wall with Brittany. She's going to give us a look at what's going to happen during the show today.
Thanks, Jennifer and Colby. Let's take a look what's happening right now. We're at 89 degrees at Tallahassee. Under those mostly cloudy skies, you can see that background live shot of those dark clouds going over Doak Campbell Stadium. Winds are coming out of the west-southwest, pretty light at 5 miles per hour. Here's a look at the rain in the area. You see some spotty showers starting to make their way from the east to the west, closer to Tallahassee. So if you have any plans within the next hour or so, we're still going to have that chance of rain and possible storms as we go into the night. But most of the rain staying off to our west, associated with Tropical Depression Gordon as it moves up to the north. But current temperatures around the Big Bend area, 90 degrees in Bainbridge, 86 degrees in Quincy under those sunny skies, and 84 in Apalachicola. For tonight, those thunderstorms are possible early into the night. 73 degrees will be that low, and we'll see those calm conditions. But for the show tonight, we'll talk about how Gordon is weakening, but Florence out in the Atlantic is strengthening. The summertime pattern will return, though, as we go into the weekend, and we'll also have a peek at this weekend's football forecast against Sanford Saturday night. Let's head it off to Sammy for a more in-depth look at our weather.
All right, thank you, Brittany. So our current temperatures are right around 90 degrees here in Tallahassee, dipping into the 80s right now. It is mostly cloudy out right now. We have lots of cumulus clouds out there right now. But around the Big Bend, you can see these temperatures are starting to dip into the 80s. Quincy is still around 86 degrees, but those temperatures will drop overnight as well. Our dew points are starting to see the lower 70s over in Apalachicola. They are still getting a little bit of rain right now. They are higher, but we are pretty uncomfortable here with that dew point. As we look at our radar, you can see that depression still over in Mississippi. Now, we are not seeing too many effects here in Tallahassee. We have a few spotty showers on our radar. Nothing too concerning, though. You could see a drop or two if you go outside within the next few hours to come into the later half of the night. 73 here in Tallahassee. Around the Big Bend, you can see temperatures are pretty much around the low 70s for the night to come. Now, there is about a 30% chance of rain for the night, so you could see a pop-up shower or two. As far as the water, we still have a light chop. It is pretty calm over in the water, so the seas are starting to settle down in the Gulf, but the temperature is 90 degrees and there is winds 10 knots right now, so there is a light wind at the beach. Tomorrow, 90 degrees is that high for the day. There is a chance of isolated thunderstorms, especially in the afternoon, but it will be a fairly nicer day out. See more sunshine to come within the next few days. Now, Thursday overnight, there could be a thunderstorm or two early, then it will clear out for the remainder of the night and into Thursday morning. Cloudy and maybe a morning shower or two. But throughout the day, just a series of clouds, maybe a few thunderstorms or two throughout the remainder of the night as well. For your 7-day forecast, you could see we are going to be sticking into the low 90s and even into the 80s throughout the majority of the week. Only about 20 to 30% chance of rain for the next few days, with those lows dipping into the 70s. But now we're going to take it over to Colby.
Well, let's take a look at the tropics. That's really been the story of today's show. We had Tropical Depression Gordon right now. It was Tropical Storm Gordon last night, making landfall near Pensacola. Currently, you can see the center of circulation there just to the north and to the west of Jackson, Mississippi, and then all the convection where we're seeing that rainfall is back actually off to the east. Dry spot coming into portions of southern Mississippi. That's a welcome sight there. We've had a lot of rain over these areas, but even areas like Pensacola and back even toward Destin, they're still dealing with copious amounts of rainfall that's going to be affecting these areas over the next several hours, but making that trek off to the north and west there over the next several days. And those winds will start to decrease as it goes over, well, continues its track over land. It's going to combine with this cold front over the nation's midsection, really going to give places like Missouri and Illinois chances for a lot of flash flooding there with Gordon. There's those rain bands I was talking about there from Mobile back down I-10 to Pensacola there at Escambia Bay, then back toward Destin. A lot of offshore flow coming onshore associated with that circulation. Now a tropical depression, and then will become a remnant low over the next several days. But it just shows you how far from that center that you're still having those effects even into Alabama there along I-65 up toward Montgomery. A lot of rain there. We're going to have to watch those areas for flash flooding concerns over the next several days. And there's those flash flood watches from Jackson back up into Arkansas. We'll have to watch the Ozarks there too in northwestern Arkansas. As that front's coming through the nation's midsection, we're going to have to watch places like Wichita down I-35 into Oklahoma City. That's not totally Gordon related, but these will be areas that are just going to be really saturated as we see just opportunity after opportunity for precipitation. And then our next opportunity for a major hurricane, which is currently a major hurricane out in the open waters of the Atlantic, and this is Major Hurricane Florence there, Category 4. Right now, winds of 130 miles per hour. Pressure has dropped to 953 millibars. Let me appreciate that. Open waters in the Atlantic, that's a nice sight there. But then I want to point out one thing real quickly. Back off to the north and west, that's Bermuda sitting there. We're not sure exactly where this is going to go. There's a lot of fluctuation with the models, and you can see that there. Nice couplet there over the next couple of days, but then, wow, we have one model taking it way off to the north, and then several models that continue that trek back to the west there. We'll have to watch that over the next several days, and we will keep you advised of that. We're also watching another wave that's coming off the Cape Verde Islands there, came off the coast of Africa. So it's really an active Atlantic hurricane season now. It's like one wave right after another. So we'll have to watch the pattern as these start to continue to make their trek back to the east. Well, excuse me, no, to the west, as they could affect us over the next several days. We'll watch that. We'll keep you covered there. But it's really been it was a quiet Atlantic hurricane season until like the last couple of weeks. Things have really started to pick up as we're just blowing through the names now. We're going to be going, we're with Florence and Gordon there, and then we'll have Helene if that comes off the coast of Africa there. We'll keep watching for that. And then now I'm going to take things actually back off to the desk with Sammy and Michael.
Thanks, Corey. We're going to stick with the tropics here. And Sammy, not a surprise, once we get to the beginning of September, that's when the tropics really get starting active.
We are starting to hit the peak of hurricane season, and we are definitely starting to see those effects through the United States right now.
Yeah, Gordon right now is a tropical depression, as Colby said. It made landfall last night around the Mississippi-Alabama border at around 8:30, 9 o'clock. Again, it's a mainly easterly sided storm. And on the east side, especially on the northeast quadrant, you get those tornadoes. And we had several tornado warnings yesterday and today.
Last night, I think around 10 p.m., there was one over in Pensacola. There's been multiple tornado warnings, I know, in Iowa today and Mississippi earlier in the afternoon as well.
Yeah, the tornadoes in Mississippi and Florida are due to Gordon. And then the one in Iowa, that's due to a frontal boundary, which is going to combine with Gordon, and I'll get into that in my national in just a bit. But again, the other threat with Gordon is the rainfall. Lots of rainfall in Pensacola and Mobile over the last 2 days.
Lots of flooding and lots of wind, too. We heard a report of a young boy who was killed, unfortunately, due to a tree falling on his mobile home.
Yeah, mobile homes are not really the best place to stay during any severe weather. So, but it's still unfortunate that you can't really help in those circumstances, which is really unfortunate. And then as well, we also have Florence down the Atlantic Category 4, and then we have a bunch of waves coming off Africa. So it is getting active in the Atlantic once again.
Like Colby was saying, he hit that all those waves perfectly with just a lot of stuff going on in the tropics and affecting us here in the United States.
Yeah, and for now, we are going to send it off to Jennifer with a look at our second local forecast.
Well, taking things look more locally here in the Tallahassee area, we're looking at temperatures right now 89 degrees with mostly cloudy conditions. We're keeping the heating aspect throughout the evening hours with with that westerly breeze coming out. It's giving us a little bit of moisture into our area as well. The almanac does show that we were actually slightly below average ending out the day today, and 89 degrees was the high. Typically around 90 degrees this time of year. However, the evening heading into the morning lows, we're actually above average. About 75 degrees was the morning low for today. Currently across the Big Bend region, we're looking at temperatures in the 80s, heading into the 90s for some areas, about 89 degrees here in Tallahassee, like I said. More towards the coast, we're a bit cooler, about 84 degrees in Apalachicola, perfect time to be on the beach right now. 90 degrees in Bainbridge, that is the hot spot for the Big Bend region. Dew points are high, so it does feel quite humid when you walk outside. When you mix that into with the temperature, you're going to get heat indexes that are about into the 90s for some areas. 73 in Tallahassee, so we're looking at dew points in the mid-70s, which means that it does feel quite humid outside. The heat index, like I said, when you mix in the dew points as well as the actual temperature, you're going to end up getting heat index values, the feels like temperatures, into the 90s for most areas. 97 degrees here in Tallahassee, about 95 in Bainbridge, and also 95 in Quincy. So those are the temperatures that it feels like when you walk outside. To take a look at the bigger picture, we have the cold front that's draped across the United States. However, more towards the southeast is where Gordon has impacted the southeast. So for our area, we actually have a few showers and storms making their way off from the east towards the west. This is because we do have an easterly flow. That's the sea breeze. Sea breeze from the east is actually interacting with our area. So it's giving us some rain showers for places like the I-10 corridor as well. But where we see the heaviest rains is more towards the west of us. We have some rain bands associated with the remnants of Tropical Depression Gordon right now. So we will keep the rain chances in the picture throughout most of tonight. As we go into tonight, we'll have thunderstorms earlier on in the evening. However, by the morning hours, we'll actually see the clouds clearing up a little bit. And by tomorrow morning, we may have a coastal shower here and there, mainly for areas like Apalachicola. That is a result of the remnants of Tropical Depression Gordon. However, we may even see a coastal shower here and there for those areas, but it will mainly be a cloudy one for the Big Bend region. And by the afternoon, the classic summertime pattern that we've been seeing for the past few weeks, we'll see some showers and storms developing mainly from the east, making their way off towards the west throughout the evening hours. So we will keep the chance for thunderstorms heading throughout tomorrow. Tonight's forecast, 73 degrees. We'll keep the thunderstorms mainly earlier on throughout the evening. However, with the calmer winds, it is going to feel quite humid when you walk outside. You don't really have a breeze to cool you off. For tomorrow, the Big Bend region is looking at temperatures into the 90s for some areas like Quincy, 91 degrees for that location, as well as 90 degrees here in Tallahassee. For the coastal areas, 87 degrees for Apalachicola, so it should be a good day to head out to the beach for tomorrow. Maybe you may see a shower or storm in the afternoon, however. Here in Tallahassee, if you're heading out on campus for Thursday classes, 74 degrees when you wake up in the morning, 85 degrees for the noontime. Your 7-day forecast is showing rain chances decreasing heading into the weekend. I'm going to pass things off to Michael for a bigger picture.
Yeah, thanks, Jennifer. Let's take a look at the national picture right now. You can see there's two stories we have right now. One is Gordon down towards Mississippi, bringing the rain into Alabama and the panhandle of Florida still. And then we have this frontal boundary in central Missouri and in the central part of the country, basically. You can see all the cooler air behind it with 72 in Kansas City and Minneapolis. So more comfortable behind this cold front for sure. And it's also, you can also see by the dew points, 48-degree dew point in Minneapolis. Compare that to 71 in Kansas City. So a very clear divide in terms of moisture between Minneapolis and Kansas City. Lots of tropical air, especially across the eastern two-thirds of the nation. And when you see the satellite and radar, we still have this frontal boundary, as I said once again, Gordon down towards Mississippi. Let's zoom in first into the southwest with the monsoon, though. You can see those normal afternoon scatters, showers, and thunderstorms due to the daytime heating, but they do need it because of the drought. Because of the drought, there's an exceptional drought right north of Albuquerque. There we go. And also in the center of the Four Corners region. So it has been improving just a bit, but we need a lot more rain in order to improve that exceptional drought. Now out towards the center part of the country, once again, we do have that cold front sweep right across the center of the Midwest, bringing a lot of rain into Iowa. We do have flash flood watches and warnings, which we'll get into just a sec. But look at the amount of water vapor associated with this front. Lots of water vapor. Yeah, and then again, we do have that freeze warning and freeze watch in the northern Minnesota. Flash flood watches and warnings down towards Iowa, as I just said. But ahead of that front, you do have the heat advisory. The upper level water vapor, again, due to Gordon, lots of moisture heading into the panhandle of Florida still, into the rain, and there's our satellite and radar with the circulation of Gordon swirling around there in Mississippi, just north of Vicksburg. And that's going to move up to the north, combined with the frontal system, and bring in more rain to the Midwest. Down towards the south, once again, we do have flash flood watches due to Gordon's path, and also the flood warning down towards Pensacola. There's the path, once again, moving up towards the central Midwest and Chicago, bringing in more rain for the Midwest as well. Now, for your storm outlook for tomorrow, we do have mostly general thunderstorms, a little bit of a marginal threat up towards Northern Dakota, but also a marginal threat in Philadelphia, and we will have to watch that with the BMW Championship there tomorrow. Tonight's forecast, 73 in Atlanta, 73 in Memphis. You can see the clear divide in the front, and also for tomorrow, similar story, once again, in the center of the nation. Now let's send it back off to the desk with Jennifer and Colby.
Hey, thanks, Michael. Really good explanation there of what's going on around the nation. Now, bringing it a little bit closer to home, we've had some shower and thunderstorm activity. It's been interesting. You've noticed over the last several days that the storms have really went from the east, and they've actually moved into our area from the east, and they've headed off to the west. And that's due to that strong ridging pattern that we've been in, area of high pressure, so the clockwise flow around the high, and it's given us, the sea breeze is what we call the Atlantic sea breeze, so that moisture is coming and originating off of the Atlantic coast instead of off of the Gulf of Mexico like we're used to, that southerly flow.
So typically during the summer, earlier what we saw throughout the past month or so is the sea breeze making its way from the south towards the north. However, with that high pressure system that's to our north, it's allowing that clockwise rotation and giving clockwise flow, giving us some of the rain and thunder activity from the east towards the west, because that's where the wind is coming from.
And we're seeing that same afternoon convection, but just the direction's a little bit different. So instead of the storms coming out of the south, heading off to the north and northwest, it's really more of a from the east heading back off to the west. But we really dodged a bullet there with Gordon.
Yes.
Because boy, all that rainfall. I know we even had we had a river here, Apalachicola River, not too far from here, that actually was in a storm surge condition. Well, storm surge brought in the water, almost put it into a flood stage.
Yes. So the forecast is actually showing some models are showing that high pressure will start to move out more towards the Atlantic area, so that could reverse our flow back from southerly back to a southerly flow, giving us the storms from the south, if that high pressure system does make its way out. And that could actually also impact some of the storms off in the Atlantic right now.
Yeah, some of that tropical activity I was talking about earlier in the Atlantic basin. It'll be interesting as we start to watch over, especially the next 7 to 10 days, how those interactions take place. And if we have storms that what we call fish storms, they remain out in the open waters and pose no threat to the North American continent, compared to if possibly some of the storms might actually potentially threaten the eastern seaboard. We'll have to watch that, but
we are quite a bit of ways out. But
yeah, quite a bit of ways out.
Something to look at.
We'll have to watch that, and then, but we do have a lot to talk about around Florida, and I think Brittany's at the wall with that update there.
Yes, thank you, Colby and Jen. Thanks for that update, but let's take a look at the Sunshine State. Not seeing too much sunshine. Pensacola still getting in on that rain from Tropical Depression Gordon. They're still sitting at a cool 78 degrees. As we head on over east, 85 degrees in Jacksonville, 82 in Tampa. They're experiencing some rain passing by right now, but sunny skies and 88 degrees in the Keys. Dew point just showing the story of how muggy it is outside, how humid it's feeling outside. 73 in Tallahassee, 75-degree dew point in Pensacola, and we're still in the upper 70s, even in West Palm Beach at 77 degrees for that dew point. Satellite and radar showing that the leftover of Gordon, it's now a depression. You still kind of see that spin, and a lot of that rain still kind of draping over Pensacola, still getting rain. They had over 10 inches of rain, and we're still counting. And we do have some sea breeze influenced showers and storms making their way from the east to the west. We've seen that over the last week or so, and just that dominant east wind bringing in all that rain and storms. Looking at South Florida, just some spotty showers and storms moving through the area. Most of the heavy rain now moving offshore just past over 75. Looking at tomorrow's forecast for South Florida, 90 degrees in Naples. Chances of rain though everywhere. Showers and storms. We just have a lot of moisture down there still. 87 for Fort Lauderdale and 88 for Homestead. Moving up to North Florida, again, the East Coast starting to quiet down. Some of these showers are dying down before they make it to the coast, but as you pass over more towards Citrus County, up towards Cedar Key, they just have some showers and heavier rain moving through, but that's going to clear out as we go into the night. And for tomorrow's forecast for North Florida, chances of rain everywhere. 90 degrees for Ocala, 88 in Gainesville, and 89 for Live Oak. As we head over towards the Panhandle, there's all that rain still associated with Tropical Depression Gordon. They're still getting some heavier bands also starting to come on shore near Pensacola again. But as you look more east towards Tallahassee, we missed out on a lot of that rain, thankfully, so we didn't see too much rain yesterday, just a lot of clouds. For tomorrow's forecast, 90 degrees for Mariana, 88 in Panama City, and 86 for Crestview. And we still have that chances of rain into the evening tonight and into tomorrow afternoon. Here's that forecast where you'll still see things slightly calm down overnight, more towards the later part of the night. And as we get into the day tomorrow, we will see things start to ramp up. And you can even see that sea breeze kind of start back up from the east back to the west. We're going to continue to see that pattern. For tonight, 73 degrees for Tallahassee. We do have that chance of showers and storms earlier in the night. Things will start to calm down along with a calm wind. 77 degrees for Tampa with that chance of precipitation. So mostly cloudy skies for Orlando, 74 for Jacksonville, and Key West not even getting out of the 80s at 81 degrees. All right, Colby, let's head over to you for the last look at our local forecast.
Hey, thanks, Brittany. Now let's take a look at those current conditions here in the capital city. 89 degrees, mostly cloudy skies. Those winds are not out of the south anymore. They're out of the west-southwest. They're at 5 miles per hour. We'll have to watch that. We do have some showers. I'll talk about that in just a second that have just popped up over the last 10 to 15 minutes. 89 here in Tallahassee, 86 over in Quincy. Very warm and balmy 90 degrees there in Bainbridge, right up there along the Highway 84 corridor in southern Georgia. Things have remained rather warm there. And those dew point values, look at that Apalachicola. Now this is a lot of onshore flow associated with Gordon, 80-degree dew point there, very icky, sticky, uncomfortable. If you don't have any rain that's actually falling, very uncomfortable conditions there. 73 here in Tallahassee, 77 up in Quincy, so very moist conditions. That icky, sticky factor definitely in play today. Winds out of the east there at 7 miles per hour, 12 mile per hour gusts there in Monticello. So we're starting to see more of that easterly dominant flow that I was talking about earlier on that segment at the desk. And really what we're seeing is this cold front that's coming across the nation's midsection. And then you have the remnants there of Tropical Depression Gordon there going across Mississippi, but bringing a lot of moisture there to portions of Alabama. That'll influence our weather the next couple days. But we're in this dry slot here for now, but we're starting to see some shower and thunderstorm activity trying to pop up from the I-75 corridor from Valdosta back down to Live Oak. This is pushing back off to the west. There's Tallahassee there. We're in a little bit of a lull, and then you have to go down toward the Phoenix Springs, and things really start to pick up as they're starting to see those last few bands of convection, those feeder bands associated with Tropical Depression Gordon as it continues to make its way to the north and west. For tonight, models are picking up on a stray shower there near Tallahassee about midnight tonight. We'll have to watch that, so definitely keep the umbrella in the plans for tonight, but then we'll have some clearing as we go through the night into tomorrow morning. Definitely good time to go walk the dog, get out and enjoy those temperatures before things get rather balmy and uncomfortable. And as we continue throughout your day on Thursday, we'll start to see that easterly flow that'll be dominant there in the afternoon, possibly bringing some shower and thunderstorm activity. For tonight, keep that umbrella handy, 73 degrees, winds will be calm. You saw those showers starting to filter through. We'll have to deal with those maybe over the next 30 minutes, or over the next several hours into your evening. Tomorrow at the beach, it'll be okay, 90 degrees, but possibly some shower and thunderstorm activity. I know that's not represented right there, but especially in the afternoon, you could see that there. We'll have to keep that in the forecast. Mid-morning, though, looking good. So that's showing that mid-morning conditions there, partly cloudy, looking good. Go ahead and get the beach out of the system in the afternoon. Definitely have that umbrella handy. 90 degrees for tomorrow. That'll be that in that afternoon temperature. Then planning out your day. Very comfortable conditions, 85 by lunchtime, but keep the umbrella handy, especially in the afternoon. And then over the next 7 days, we're really stuck in this pattern, 30%, 20% there, but those are actually lower percentages for rainfall than what we're used to. Those temperatures sitting in the upper 80s. Very comfortable conditions. We get into the lower 70s at night. How's that look, guys, over at the desk? How's that looking?
Honestly, Saturday looks perfect.
I'm
Game
excited
time.
for game day, yeah.
Yes. 20% chance of rain. Now Monday it was a different story. I went to the game and we were seeing that off and on light showers, but Saturday looking like a hot one, but depends what you like. If you'd rather be hot or soaked.
Lots of temperatures in the 80s for the next week to come as well. We'll see how long that plays out for as far as September.
Yeah, we'll start getting those cold fronts, but not until later October. But for now, if you really enjoy those summer temperatures in those 80s, next week 87, 88, 88, you gotta enjoy it now because it's gonna come quicker.
My roommate was asking me, Sammy, like, when are the thunderstorms in the afternoons gonna start to stop? I'm like, well, like as September goes along, like it'll start to, you know.
Yeah, we'll get that pattern.
Get out.
Pretty quickly. Time flies. But thankfully, the football game looks great for this weekend. But you know, if you're going to class for the rest of this week and next week, we will have those chances of rain, especially in the afternoon. Our typical sea breeze pattern. So. Always bring your umbrella because sometimes as a student meteorologist, I forget my umbrella.
Very true, very true. We don't always know what's happening with the weather.
Yeah, sometimes I have to ask fellow classmates what's going on.
But as far as everyone else, not everyone is so lucky right now. Lots of flooding and even some tornado reports. So.
Yeah, too much rain in some places. We had those warnings. But follow us on Twitter to keep updated on all things weather that you need to keep up with.
Feel free to like us on Facebook as well.
And also, we are on YouTube. You can watch us live, watch the show, and even go back to previous shows if you want to keep up with those.
And make sure you follow us on Instagram at FSU Weather. See more of our pictures we post.
Send us your pictures also for a chance to be featured on our shows. We love seeing things that you guys are taking pictures of because we're mostly here. We can't always see what's going on around town in the Tallahassee area and even in other places in Florida.
But hey, hopefully you have a great Wednesday night and into Thursday as well.
I'm student meteorologist Brittany Bowman.
And I'm student meteorologist Sammy Squires.
Have a great night.